Life is full of hard choices. Not everything in life can be easy. Sometimes you gotta wake up early. Sometimes you gotta go to school. You gotta get a job. You gotta work. And you gotta pay your taxes. I started this YouTube channel 4 years ago with the hopes that eventually it would get big enough to be my full-time job. And while that hasn't happened yet, there have been a lot of highs and lows with this channel, that's for sure.
I don't know, guys. I need a timeout from this car.
It's fixed! It's finally fixed!
Oh, that's gonna bend the fan of that.
Getting a car perfectly running, driving, and finished is such a good feeling, but honestly, a better feeling is building the car itself. They say building the car is the journey, and the journey is the fun part, but you know what they say about journeys? They all must come to an end. My 996 Turbo brought me into the Porsche world, and really that's kind of what created this YouTube channel. Sure, I had it before, but it was nowhere near as large as it was as when I got the 996 Turbo. I took a big gamble trading in my ZR2 Duramax Colorado for this thing, basically straight up, and I would have never done that if it wasn't for YouTube. YouTube was the only reason I did that. Well, that plus my addiction to sports cars. I didn't know how well YouTube would receive it. I didn't know how the members of my channel would tune into this, if they would like it or hate it, but thankfully it did grow my channel a lot, and I wouldn't be where I was today if it wasn't for this car. So this car does mean a lot to me. Buying the cheapest 911 Turbo I've ever seen probably wasn't the smartest choice, but it was the only one I could afford. I have in front of me on my chicken scratch here on all this paperwork how much this 996 Turbo has cost to get it in its current shape. And boy, it even surprised me. When I first bought it, I thought, wow, this is a Porsche. This is a 996 Turbo. It's speed yellow. It's manual. I'm never, ever gonna sell this thing. And of course, we all tell ourselves that when we get said car or truck, but it's just not the reality. We can't keep all the cars and trucks forever. At least I sure can't, especially not with a little 2-car garage. My yard is starting to look like a junkyard, and it's certainly not a good look. I know what you're thinking, and it's what I'm thinking too. As much time, energy, and money as I've put into this car, how can I possibly get rid of it? And you're right, I've put blood, sweat, and tears into this thing. I brought it back from basically dead, but now what? After all, this YouTube channel is technically a business, and if the car isn't making content, well, then it's bad for business, and I simply can't keep it around just because. Especially when I'm in the hole as much as I am with this car. This package I'm opening is definitely useful to a lot of you guys in the audience, and you have a lot of choices when it comes to scents to make your car smell better. This particular scent here is Amber.
Who the hell is Amber?
Well, I'm not sure who Amber is, but she smells good. I have one in the 997, so I want one in the truck too. After all, I have been driving it a lot lately, which you'll see in an upcoming video, for some really cool parts in 3 different states. These are the most simple air fresheners to install ever. Simply goes on your visor, and this scented block of wood is magnetized. Well, it just sits right there and smells amazing. What's really nice is it's all natural. It's made with sustainable materials. It looks like just a nice piece of wood in your car, not some ugly, tacky air freshener. Drift also has air fresheners for inside your home. As you guys probably know, I've got a couple stinky dogs. Now, my little office here, this is certainly gonna make it smell better because, well, my 2 stinky dogs are always in here with me, and it smells like dog. I've actually only had that plugged in for a few minutes here in the office, and it already smells way better and less like my furry 4-legged friends. They're GMO-free, pet and kid-friendly, cruelty-free, and vegan. Now, you can order just one, or you can actually subscribe and get a new one monthly. So not only do these things smell great, but they're made with clean ingredients. They ship free, and you can cancel your subscription at any time. They also have different options other than wood. You can get stone or metal. Make sure to use my coupon code ROSS at drift.co or scan the QR code for 55% off. It's less than $5 for your first month. Buying a really clean example that needed basically no work was obviously the smart choice, but it would have been nearly double the cost, and I couldn't have made any YouTube content on it. There's a method behind the madness. Hey man, you gotta add up the total. How much did it cost to rebuild this thing? So in parts alone, I've invested $49,158 into this car. Wow, that is a shockingly high number. And with the original purchase price of the car, which is around $38,000, that brings us up to $87,158 for a 150,000 mile 996 turbo from 2001. Yikes.
That number still hurts to hear, but luckily I've done way better with the 997 and hopefully future projects. But to be fair, I have to account for YouTube and sponsorship revenue as well, which makes it hurt a little less.
So that plus the YouTube income, let's knock $32,000 off this car to bring the total down to $55,158. That's much better. That's like break-even point for this car.
Now, I'm sure you guys are already thinking this.
Who the f is gonna pay 55 grand for that car? This is the last time I'm gonna be in this car. Last time I'm gonna start it and drive it.
Two years of my life, over 30 YouTube videos, about 5,000 miles, and it's time to say goodbye. But let's meet the new owner.
How's it going, guys? Joel here. So I guess I'm buying the 996 Turbo. I've been following Matt for a while now. One of the videos I heard him, he mentioned slightly that there was an intent of actually selling the car.
And if you were wondering, yes, it already broke down.
Bingo, bingo, mandingo.
So I reached out and told him, like, look, if this is real, I'm seriously interested. I'm looking for a driver's car that I can enjoy with my 4-year-old. Now that I've been here, I've driven it. What I've seen on the video, it's 100% what this car is. It's insane, and I'm gonna enjoy this for many, many years to come. And I hope that my 4-year-old is able to drive it in the future.
Well, you take care of it.
I will. I definitely will. And if you're in Houston, Texas, you'll be seeing this car around.
I'll get updates for sure.
So I bet you're wondering how much I sold this car for. After all, it is a 152,000 mile 996 turbo that isn't exactly perfect.
Not only is it not perfect, but it kind of broke it.
One of the most common issues with 996 turbos is second gear pop out. To hopefully prevent this in the future, I did the detent mod, but unfortunately, it didn't work. At least, not long term and not for me.
Whew, boys, that was a lot of work.
But later down the line, it started happening anyway. Recently, it started popping out of second gear every once in a while, usually not when I drive it, almost never when I drive it, but when other people would drive it. Not only that, the coolant lines have never been pinned or welded, and it's probably on the OEM clutch. So realistically, I would need to go down the rabbit hole with this car, drop the engine and transmission, have the tranny rebuilt, do a new clutch, and weld or pin all the coolant lines. And to me, that's just not worth my time and effort, and I don't think it would get good views on this channel anyway. So either way, it was time to move on it, even if it was from a discounted price. I never listed this car for sale on any websites or anything like that. I just mentioned it in a video, and Joel was one of the many that reached out with interest in the car. And we came to a price of $45,000, and I think that's kind of fair for both of us. Like I said, the car is going to need some work, which Joel was aware of before I sold it to him. And while the car never let me sit, it's already let him sat, which I'm a little bummed about. I feel bad, but I know he's going to bring that car back and make it even better than I did.
Joel, I hope you enjoy this car as much as I have, and hopefully it gives you a little less frustration than it gave me sometimes. Can you please open the... It's not my fault, it's not working. That'll teach him to buy a piece of shit car. But I will miss it for sure, but it's going to be in good hands.
Joel lives in Texas. I'm in Pennsylvania. That is a long ways away. When he was up here checking out the car, test driving it, He committed to buying it, but he did not have time to drop it back, so he paid for a shipping service to transport it for him, which I think was probably the right idea. And the 996 has some pretty cool company on the way down to Texas. This is indeed the last time this car is going to be seen in my driveway.
Now, you didn't think the 996 was the only car I was getting rid of, right?
You guys knew this car was on the chopping block, and technically it's not sold yet, but if I get the right offer, it will be gone. For now, I'm moving it into storage, basically just not my property because I don't have room for it. After all, it doesn't make sense to be building a 318i in an E30 fashion along with an E30 M3. It's two very similar cars. I don't think that would do well on YouTube, but along with that is my built S50 that's built for boost, built for a big turbo. All that's getting shipped out of my house and into storage. Now, will I resume this project in the future? If I don't sell it, yes, for sure. This is the cleanest E30 I've ever seen, but for the right price, it's gonna be gone. And after all that, you guys didn't really think I was going to get rid of a yellow sports car and not replace it with another yellow sports car. Thanks to Drift for sponsoring another video. You can use discount code Ross to save yourself some money. The link is in the description box.